All right, I think we are good to go here. um, I will share my screen with you in just a second so we can move along through this presentation. But I just want to thank you for tuning in today to listen to this webinar on reducing toxic load. I just want to take a couple minutes before we start to tell you a little bit about myself so you have an idea of who you're listening to and why um, why you should be listening to me. So my name is Diane Johnson. I'm a mom. I run my own business as a wellness consultant, and I specialize in holistic nutrition and essential oils, and I also teach yoga. And I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and I guess really got spearheaded into this way of living and way of working through my own health challenges. So when I was 21, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and my disease was pretty aggressive. So early on, I spent about a month in the hospital being fed through a tube. I had surgeons, looking over me with their scalpel, wondering at what point they may need to emergency operate and remove my large intestine. But thanks to the medical system, I was able to recover from that, and then went on trying to live my life as a 21-year-old, with people telling me that I would figure out what made me sick. So I discovered pretty early on that really wasn't working for me. I was doing everything the doctors told me to do, but I continued to flare every time I tried to taper off my medication. And so after about a year of that going on and on and on, I decided to look for some other options. So I went to see a naturopath, and I was advised that I had several food sensitivities that I needed to address, and as well, because I had been essentially malnourished for such a long time, I also had some nutrient deficiencies. So I bought in 100%. I radically changed my diet. I remember spending 3 hours in the grocery store after first meeting with that naturopath, trying to read labels and find things that I could take home and eat, because in my house there was nothing at that point that I could eat. And yeah, I bought in. And within 2 weeks of making those changes and taking some supplements to support my nutrient deficiencies, my body started to respond, and I was finally able to come off medication. So really that sort of was the start of my realization, I guess, as a young person, that yes, we need our medical system, but there are steps that we have to take as individuals to take care of our health. And no one method of healthcare or eating or medication is going to work for every single person, because we're all so different. If I had been following the Canada Food Guide, really, I would have been healthy. But my body wasn't liking a lot of those foods. And so I had to figure that out in order to proceed with my health. Nobody could tell me why I got ulcerative colitis. So early on in my learning about my body and, more natural ways of managing my disease, I also started to read a lot about what some of the possible triggers of this disease could be. And I started learning more about the body, and I was learning about the liver and how it's a filtering organ for our body. And, that it does a really good job of removing a lot of these harmful things that we encounter. But at some point, it too reaches a point where it just can't deal with anymore. If you're living in an environment where you're constantly breathing in toxins, you're living in an environment where you're eating processed foods that contain additives and preservatives and chemicals in some instances, which are harmful to us. You're taking medications, you're lathering stuff onto your skin every day that's full of chemicals that aren't regulated. After a while, our body just can't keep up. And this really sparked some interest in me at that time. And it's been something that I've continued to learn about and become really passionate about. Fast forward to now, I have two kids who are 8 and 5, and they are in school in our first ever pandemic. And they are constantly being bombarded with chemicals. And I know that that's, I'm not here to judge right or wrong. This should happen, this shouldn't happen. That's not the point of this conversation, but I know it's happening. And so, you know, something we're managing in our home right now is how can we support their body in other ways to minimize, you know, their little bodies having to process all this stuff all the time. And I'm saying for my husband and I, just with added exposure to chemicals and cleaning agents and all the things that are happening because of this pandemic. So that's sort of, I guess, a little bit about me and a little bit about why I think this is a pretty relevant conversation for all of us. Every single one of us is carrying some kind of a toxic burden. You can't not be exposed to toxins if you live in this world. So I'm going to pause here for a sec and share my screen with you and take you through a little presentation about, you know, what are the chemicals we're exposed to? How are they affecting our body? Am I actually, as an individual, carrying a toxic load, and how is that affecting me? And then give you some strategies for things that you can change up that hopefully aren't too intense in your day-to-day life, things that are manageable, that can, over a period of time, have a really big impact on your overall health and wellness because you're able to reduce this level of toxic load. So let's dive in. Just give me a sec here. I'm going to share my screen with you. And hopefully you can all see this in just a second. Go. All right. Okay, so here we are, reducing toxic load and an emphasis on the natural solutions, right? We know that, you know, our bodies come from the earth, and our bodies exist in synergy with plants and nature. And as much as we can do naturally to support our health can have really amazing effects for us, whether that's through food or other natural things that we're adding into our world. Perfect. Okay, sorry, my clicker was just not working there for a sec. So it's just, again, just a little bit about me. I have a background in education. I am certified in holistic nutrition. I'm an essential oil educator, yoga teacher. Oh, I've also been a volleyball coach for 20 years. That's a side passion of mine. And I have over 10 years in the health and wellness industry. My clicker is not working. There we go. All right, I told you my story already. So let's get into it. What is toxic load? Okay, so toxic load is really the degree of toxic buildup that you carry in your body. And all of us have this to a certain degree, some more than others. When we talk about our toxic exposure, this is our exposure to those chemicals that harm our body. So our most common exposures are through inhalation, but they're also through absorption and ingestion. So these are things that when we are in our home, we have a lot of control over this stuff. Sometimes we can't always control it when we get out into the world, but when we're at home, these are things that we can manage. And then what exactly is detoxification? Okay, so this is probably a word you hear a lot of, detox or cleansing. Well, detoxification is actually the upregulation of the organs that are responsible for neutralizing toxins in our body. Cleansing, as you may have heard also, or drainage, actually refers to the process that our body goes through as it recognizes, neutralizes, and then removes those toxic compounds from our body. So sort of the same, little bit different in how it works, but generally we hear people talk about like a detox or cleansing. We sort of all recognize that that is, you know, getting rid of some of this toxic load that we are carrying in our body. Why is my clicker doing this? There we go. Okay. So if we're going to talk about toxic load, we really do need to talk about the liver. So there are several organs in our body that act as filtering organs, but the liver is kind of the king of them all. And it has a big job, and it does this job really well when we're helping it. Okay, so the liver's job is to filter bacteria, bacterial products. It filters cholesterol, hemoglobin breakdown, and it removes large toxins. It also synthesizes and secretes bile full of cholesterol and other fat-soluble toxins, and uses enzymes to disassemble unwanted waste. So there's a lot going on in this organ. what we have learned is that the proper functioning of the liver is really critical in terms of preventing toxicity disorders. And cancer is listed there, but there are a lot of things that we can experience prior to getting to that stage of illness that are signs that our body is experiencing some level of toxicity. And we're going to look at that in a minute. We need additional nutrients and antioxidants that are needed by our body in order to go through this detoxification process properly and absorb any free radicals that are floating around that are released through this process. So we need nutrients to get this all done, and those things come from good quality food. It's like every time I go to flick the screen, it wants a different part of my mouse to click. So bear with me. Okay, so the question really is, are you carrying a toxic load? Now, we know most of us have some level of toxicity going on, but some more than others. So just right now, before we go on any further, I want you to write down your top 3 health concerns or ailments. So this could be like headaches, or perhaps you have some excess weight you're trying to lose. Maybe you have pain. Maybe you have brain fog, allergies, right? Just whatever, digestive upset, all the things, write down 3 of them, okay? And just keep that by you because as we go through this, that can kind of jog you back to some things that you could perhaps focus on, okay? So if you check out this screen here, I'm just gonna give you a couple minutes to go through each line or each column, however you wanna look at it, and write down the things that are relevant for you, okay? So you can just take a couple seconds. I'll just sit quietly and wait. And if you find that you're writing down a lot of them, I can always come back to this screen too at the end if you want to take another look at it, if it's taking too much time for you. But get a general source, or you can also just read through them and make a tick on your paper every time you see one that is an issue for you. All right. So hopefully you get a bit of a sense of some things on here that are familiar to you. Okay. So if you answered yes to 10 or more of those symptoms or ailments that were listed, then your body is indicating some level of toxicity, and you should probably consider reducing your toxic load and exposure. Okay. So don't worry, if you're there, you're not alone. And we're going to talk about ways that you can start making an impact in this in your life right away. Okay. Okay. So first thing, should I do a cleanse? Now, this is something that I get a lot of questions about when I'm meeting with clients. And particularly it comes up when people feel like they want to lose some weight. So they're just going to do a cleanse, and that'll, kick 10 pounds for them, maybe. So there is a lot of evidence out there to suggest that doing a cleanse or a detox, it does provide support for your filtering organs, and it can have a good effect on your body. But what I find typically is that if we are carrying a fairly significant toxic load, then diving into a full-blown detox, like one of the ones you see in the pictures here, can be extremely challenging for our body to manage, and in many instances actually harmful. What you need to understand is that if you start to make some changes to your diet and to the things that you put on your body and into your home, then you will in fact be going through a process of detoxification or cleansing, okay? When you go through a cleansing process, your body releases a lot of toxins into your bloodstream. And if you don't have the correct nutrients coming into your system, if your body is so stressed during this cleanse because it's releasing so much, it can actually cause you harm. So what I actually suggest is that you know, at least go through a couple of weeks of altering your diet and the things that you're doing in your home and with your body products and all that kind of stuff, that you do that first on its own for a couple of weeks before you ever look at any other product that you might add in to give your body additional cleansing support. Because sometimes these things are just too rough for us. And I'm always amazed at some of the people that I've met that tell me about the cleanses that they've done, that they were like in the bathroom for days straight all the time. But the reaction from them is like, oh, but it was good. You know, it was really clearing stuff out. It's not necessarily always good for it to happen that way. So, you know, consider this something you're going to do to benefit and be kind and gentle to your body. And you want to do that in a safe way. Okay, so what this is really about, and if you start on this path, like gently caring for your body, noticing things that come up, then what you're really doing is creating healthy daily habits. And that's what we want. And that also will be, I guess, an element of cleansing. What you do every day, daily, determines your health eventually, not just cleansing for 2 weeks and then going back to the things that you used to do. So this is really about daily, manageable, healthy habits that you can implement and start making some long-term beneficial effects on your health. Okay, so if we take a look at basics, really, and probably this isn't a surprise to a lot of you, but really the first thing that you would want to make sure you're getting is a lot of pure filtered water. Okay, so by a lot, I mean the average adult should drink between 2 to 3 liters of water every day. So excuse me, see if you can up it to 3 to 4, especially during a period of cleansing, so you're able to flush everything out of your system. But ensuring that that is not just tap water or bottled water from a plastic water bottle that you're drinking, but it's actually coming from some kind of a filtered system. So there are a lot of toxins and chemicals in our water that we don't ever even know about or consider, and those do play an impact on that toxic load that we carry daily in our body. So the water that you're drinking when you're focusing on this reducing toxic load should be filtered. Even if it's from like a Brita filter in your fridge is better than nothing, okay? We also want to look and really focus on good, whole, good quality foods, okay? So specifically during these periods, we need as many nutrients as possible to make sure that we are actually turning on the detoxification pathways in our body. So we want to focus on our good quality grains, our nice lean proteins, grass-fed, and then lots and lots of color, lots and lots of fresh fruit and vegetables in our diet during that time. And if we can do that, you'll notice that you're going to be eating a lot more of these things and a lot less of perhaps some of the other packaged and processed things that you used to eat. And that is going to assist in that cleansing process as well, because you won't be adding further chemicals and toxins into your body every day. There are also some foods that you can specifically focus on when you're looking at reducing your toxic load. So you may have heard of turmeric. Okay, turmeric contains 3 to 6% curcuminoids, which are what is actually responsible for the majority of its health benefits. Curcumin has been shown in several studies to reduce toxicity, and especially by toxicity caused by heavy metals. It also helps to modulate signaling pathways that are involved in inflammation and antioxidant. Tongue twister, antioxidant activity. So that's another benefit too, right? That we're getting that anti-inflammatory benefit. Turmeric is also one that's really preventative against liver diseases. So adding turmeric to your diet through food is something that can give your body a nice little boost while you're focusing on detoxification. And you can add this into all kinds of stuff, right? You can season your chicken with it. You could put it in a smoothie. You can add it. They've got some really cool recipes out there for turmeric lattes, you know, using a good quality milk alternative in your latte. All kinds of good stuff. So you can have some fun and experiment with turmeric. Sulfur is another really powerful support for detoxification. It's part of the glutathione, which is the primary antioxidant for the liver. So basically, when you get sulfur, it's going to convert into glutathione in your body and detoxifies sulfuric acid and toxic substances that come from pollution and radiation. Sulfur also helps to resist bacteria, and it's also found in bile, which helps with our digestion. So you get lots of benefit from adding sulfur into your diet. Things like eggs, different legumes, your whole grains, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, garlic, onions, are all great things to have in ample supply, okay? Glutamine is another really interesting addition that you can focus on when you're cleansing, and it actually comes from citrus peel. So you'll see the little picture over there on the right of the lemon and the lemon essential oil. A lot of people daily add citrus or lemon juice to their water, which is great. It balances the body's pH. It is cleansing. It has vitamins and antioxidants in it. It can be tough on the enamel of your teeth, so your dental hygienist would probably not suggest that you be putting lemon juice in your water every day. But what a lot of people are missing is that the cleansing benefit that we want from the lemon actually is housed in the rind. So you would have to eat a lot of lemon rind to actually get this really high glutamine content from that citrus peel. However, the lemon essential oil comes from the rind of the fruit. If you've ever tasted lemon essential oil, it actually has a little bit of a more bitter taste because, again, it's kind of rindy, I say, because it's coming from the rind. So that's something else that you can also use internally to support just a gentle cleansing or detoxification effect in the body and help us to produce more of this glutamine, which is such a powerful antioxidant for the liver. If you're looking for additional things to add in, you could supplement with blue-green algae. Sorry, I am using some notes here just so I don't forget anything. And my pages are all turned around. Okay, there we go. So it's not something that I love the taste of. So I know a lot of people can just put it in water and choke it back, but I find it quite fishy sometimes. So this is something that I would usually either put into a capsule or buy in a capsule form. But blue-green algae just has such a high nutrient content. So it makes sure that your body has all the key nutrients that it needs while you're going through this detoxification process. It also has been shown to be very protective for the liver. So it's really nice to have when you're, helping support this organ and the job that it has to do. Another one of my favorites is cayenne pepper. So actually what I love to do, and I try to do this on a daily basis, is I actually make a drink for myself in the morning that is hot water with a pinch of cayenne pepper and a little bit of lemon juice and a drop of lemon essential oil. Cayenne pepper contains some naturally occurring compounds like capsaicin, which really helps to cleanse and detox the body at a cellular level. So this can have a really significant impact on your entire body, can help to promote healthy heart, healthy weight, healthy gut flora. So it's a little bit spicy, right? So it's nice to have in the morning. It kind of wakes you up. It also helps get your digestive juices going. And if you're digesting well, that will also benefit your detoxification pathways as well. And the last two here are dandelion and nettles. So dandelion greens in particular contain two substances, again, I'm getting tongue twisted, mucilage and inulin. And both of these are beneficial in detoxing the body and really for optimal health. These substances absorb toxins from the food we eat, and then we're able to excrete it, okay? They also are really good at helping to balance the the bacterial flora in our body. So we want to maintain that balance between the good and the bad. And the mucilage and the inulin really help with that. Nettles, on the other hand, are very powerful cleansers. And historically, the greens and the roots were prepared and people would drink them in early spring. So because they're also so high in nutrients, they would drink them in the spring after a tough winter to sort of replenish their body supplies of nutrition and nutrients that they need, that they perhaps didn't get through the hard winter. So these little tonics that people would make, they also help to stimulate the appetite, they help with circulation, and bodily functions that might have got a bit sluggish through the winter. So it's pretty cool the way that they were used historically, but they add great benefit to us as well. And again, just foods, right? Just foods that we can focus on to add into our diet on a regular basis when we're thinking about optimizing our detoxification pathways so we can lessen our toxic load. There we go again, my clicker's being silly. Okay, so one of the other things that I think is often missed when people are talking about cleansing or detoxifying is considering the things that they use in their home and on their body every day. If we're going to focus on cleansing, then it really only makes sense that we would look at these things as well. Otherwise, we might be doing things internally to help our body with the food that we're eating, but we continue to just slather toxins and breathe toxins in from what we're doing in our home. So we're working against ourselves. Interesting fact for you, okay? According to the Environmental Working Group, federal law regarding products, like body products, soaps, makeups, those kinds of things, hasn't changed since 1938. The FDA doesn't test the ingredients that are in these products for efficacy or for safety, and only colored additives require the agency's approval. The agency can't issue recalls on cosmetics or hygiene products, okay? So that's pretty crazy that all of that, nothing has changed since 1938. And on average, and this blows me away, on average, the average woman uses 12 different personal care products every day, which exposes them to over 163 different chemicals every single day. So just think of the toll that that would take on your health, right? And if you're trying to focus on detox, on reducing your toxic load, you continue to use these products, you can see how, again, how you're just fighting a losing battle. The nice thing is that there are many, many options out there now, and many more than there used to be. So that's in our favor. We do have options and we can make different choices. The tough thing is that without any regulations on labeling, or what can go into products, what is regulated and what is not, it's still hard to know if what you're getting is actually what it says it is, and if it is a natural and safe product with no added chemicals. The other thing to consider, and I speak from experience on this, is when I first started cutting out store-bought like shampoos and soaps and those kinds of things, because I was learning more about what was in them, I went to shop at a health food store. And those products were better, but they were really expensive, right? And so that was a barrier for me as a young person, that there were things that I wanted to purchase I knew were better for myself, but it was hard for me to afford that. So it wasn't actually until I discovered the world of essential oils that I actually started saving some money, and really working at that level of reducing toxic load, because I know very clearly what is in each and every one of those essential oils. So this is something that's made a big impact on my family and in my home, and it has really simplified my shopping. So now I make my own cleaning products. I make a lot of my soaps and lotions. I buy shampoos and conditioners and things that are safe, that actually have essential oils in them. So it's just made a world of difference in terms of accessibility as well, and getting things that are at a reasonable price, not breaking the bank every time I went shopping. So on that note, I want to just talk really quickly about essential oils. And as a holistic nutritional consultant, I focus a lot on food, right? Food is the foundation of our health. And there are, essential oils, I guess, can be a nice addition to managing different aspects of our health. And that's kind of where I started at when I was learning about essential oils, and they smell nice and yada, yada. But what I've learned about them over the years, and what's interesting in terms of the food part, is that a lot of our challenges with food are not so much just that we don't want to eat so many vegetables or whatever, but we usually have some connection to the food we're eating, some emotional connection, some memories, which makes it hard to change nutritional habits. It's the hardest part, for sure, the emotional connection to food. And so anytime that I'm talking about nutrition with people, essential oils get brought in because they're so powerful for changing the way that we feel and for helping us break cycles of how we feel or how we think and changing them in the moment to a way that is more productive or better for us in the long run. To this particular conversation, we're talking also about reducing toxic load. So it also is extremely empowering to be able to bring in some natural, safe products that you can use in a variety of different ways that are not hindering your body's ability to detoxify and reduce toxic load, but actually can benefit that process. So just wanted to add that in as a little bit of backstory about why I talk about essential oils in this process. So I mentioned, we do at periods of time, we need to support the body and the mind during periods of change as much as the physical body. And like I was saying, a lot of our challenges with making changes to habits are in that mental, emotional realm. And so it's nice to have something to support that. The other thing with essential oils, like the screen I had up last time, is there really isn't any regulation in the market. I align with doTERRA essential oils. I use them specifically and exclusively because of their very stringent and world-renowned testing and safety protocols. So all of their oils are held to a standard which is called certified pure therapeutic grade. And anything that does not meet that level or that level of standardization is just simply not put onto the shelves. They have the most rigorous testing that is happening in the essential oil industry right now. It's heavily backed by science. They're partnered with various universities and hospitals around the US. And so they, and they're really doing the work to make sure that what they are offering is safe and therefore effective. So that purity is really important, especially when we're talking about reducing a toxic load. We want to make sure that what we're putting on and in our body doesn't have any other additives in it that we don't want at that point in time. As I mentioned, they're natural. They come directly from the plants, so that aligns really nicely with our body and helps it to do the thing it's supposed to do. And we don't get side effects. And a lot of times we end up with side benefits. For example, when I clean with lemon essential oil, my house smells amazing, but I'm also super happy because lemon essential oil is really uplifting. Can you imagine being happy and cleaning your house at the same time? I don't know. It just never made sense until I started using lemon essential oil. They're also, so because of their purity, they're safe. They're very affordable when you consider that there are 250 drops in a bottle. And because the purity is so high, you only need 1 or 2 drops at a time. And they're super easy to incorporate into daily healthy habits. So wanted to throw that in there so that people are suddenly not like, well, why is she talking about essential oils when we're talking about reducing toxic load? Because for me, they are a part of this process and have been so helpful in helping myself and my family work on this, okay? So this screen just shows you a few of the oils that I use most often for cleaning, okay? I mentioned lemon. I make my own glass cleaner now, and my windows shine more than they ever did with the Windex. It will take anything sticky off of anything. My son came home with sap on his hand the other day. We added a drop of oil to his hand, rubbed it with a Kleenex, and the sap was gone. It cleans my stainless steel sinks and appliances better than anything I've ever used, just with a couple drops on a cloth. It also, like I said before, is a really uplifting aroma to have around. So, you know, I'm cleaning. We have the side benefit of the house smells amazing, and I feel good because I've been breathing in the properties of lemon that are so uplifting and increasing feelings of happiness and contentment. This one too, as I mentioned on a previous slide, in terms of cleansing, can also be used as an internal cleanser. So there's a lot of benefit from adding a drop or two to your water every day and just supporting your detoxification pathways really gently with the lemon essential oil. Tea tree is one that I use a lot. It has a lot of antibacterial, antiviral properties in it, as well as antifungal properties. So sometimes in my all-purpose cleaner, I'll add a couple drops of tea tree in it just for a little extra kick. This, though, it has a lot of antiseptic properties for the skin. Excuse me. And so I have replaced our polysporin that I grew up with using all the time when I had scrapes and things. We don't use that anymore in the house. We use tea tree oil instead. So polysporin was nice, but if you look at the ingredients, it contains a lot of petrochemicals. So when we have a wound and we put polysporin on the wound, those petrochemicals are going basically right into our bloodstream. So I can use tea tree oil instead and help to keep scratches and scrapes and slivers and stuff like that my kids get nice and clean, and I don't have to worry about any kind of infection. It's also anti-lice. So if you end up with any kind of lice infestation in your home, you can wash the clothes in it, you can add it to the shampoo, and it will kill the lice, instead of using some of the other anti-lice shampoos, which are super harsh. So yeah, another super versatile, right? You can use that for cleaning your home, but also in all these other ways that just help keep things clean, keep surfaces clean, keep your skin clean. And then On Guard is doTERRA's protective blend, which actually offers a lot of immune support for us. So we use this daily, actually. Right now, this is one that I also have added to my all-purpose cleaner in my house. And I'll, you know, every once in a while, I'll clean off the door handles and I wipe counters with it. I also make my own hand sanitizer out of this. And yes, I am that mom that is sending my kid with her own homemade hand sanitizer because I don't want her using the chemical stuff all the time. You know, we don't really know long-term what that's going to do. Scares me. We need bacteria. We don't need to kill it all. I understand there's some bugs out there right now that we're pretty wary about, but this On Guard hand sanitizer that I make is super simple. It's gentle on the skin. You can add alcohol to it if you like, and then you get one that just has a little bit less of the chemical stuff in it that they're using every single day. You can also use it for oral health. So anything going on, I use this now instead of a mouthwash. If we have a canker sore or something, we use that topically on the sore spot instead of like an Ambisol or something like that. So I know the title on the page says cleaning with essential oils, which I talked a little bit about, but you see that there's so many other ways that you can get benefit from these as well that are just going to help you use less of the other store-bought stuff that's synthetic and has additives in it. When we're talking about skincare, there are some great options as well. Lavender is one that's really, really popular. It's calming and soothing for all skin things. So whether you have a burn or a rash or a bug bite, you can apply lavender topically with a carrier oil and just have a really beautiful soothing effect for the skin. It's in synthetic lavender is in a lot of lotions and things that we love. But I've gone to just using either making my own lotion with shea butter and coconut oil, or sometimes just using coconut oil with a couple drops of lavender and slathering that over my body in the morning when I get out of the shower. It's just way fewer synthetic things seeping in through my skin. Interestingly, another little side benefit of lavender is that it's great for reducing stress and anxiety, and it's very helpful for sleep. And I do know people who have reduced the number of synthetic or over-the-counter sleep aids that they take, and they use lavender essential oil instead. So that's a pretty powerful shift. Frankincense is my favorite go-to for all the skin things. It's very healing. It has anti-inflammatory properties, also has immune properties to help support our immune system. And it also has antidepressant properties. So here's this oil that I will use on my skin because of its beautifying properties. It helps reduce fine lines and scars and wrinkles and sunspots and things like that. So I don't have a fancy cream that I use anymore on my face. I'll use frankincense topically with, again, a carrier oil. But as I use that, it's absorbing in my skin and I'm getting all these other benefits from it. So the immune, the anti-inflammatory. It's also amazing for cellular support. So making sure our cells are functioning properly. And while I'm putting this on, I'm breathing it in, and it has a very grounding, calming effect, which is helpful for the mind and mood. So that's another really favorite oil of mine. That, you know, everybody in my house uses it in different ways. For those of you that are not perhaps so interested in making your own stuff, doTERRA also offers a couple of different skincare lines. This is just one that I mentioned, and it's really awesome. It's all plant-based and includes essential oils in it. And it kind of comes as you can buy them individually or you can buy them as a set. So there's a cleanser, beautiful moisturizer. It's light and lovely. There is also a serum that has essential oils in it for real effective hydrating, and then a toner as well. So, you know, it's nice to have the options. We don't always have the time to make our own stuff, but if you're focused on keeping chemicals out of your skincare, there are some options there as well that are already done for you. All right, and when it comes to personal hygiene, this is one area where a lot of those chemicals kind of seep into our life and we may not even know it. So, you know, if you're looking at shampoo and conditioner, you want to make sure things that you're buying don't have any parabens or sulfates in them, and that the products included in them are as natural as possible. So, you know, we've switched out all the store-bought shampoos that I used to get, even the ones from the health food store that were way more expensive, and we use now this protecting shampoo, which is color safe, and has orange and lime essential oils in it. It's beautiful. And everybody in my house uses this, even my husband. We have also switched our hand soap. So again, we used to buy the store-bought stuff in the little pumps, or I'd buy like a big jug of it to be more cost effective, right? But this On Guard foaming hand wash has the On Guard essential oil blend in it. So again, very effective at killing bacteria and things on surface. I will tell you that after starting to use this when my daughter was 3, no, sorry, she was 4. It was her second year of preschool. We started that second year of preschool. I started anyway thinking, oh man, okay, we're going to be sick again every 3 weeks like we were last year. And the only thing different that we did was use this soap, and just its effectiveness in terms of keeping the hands clean, right? Hands and then into the mouth and all the things. It was amazing. Now, I know, of course, she would have built up an immune system from her first year of preschool, but it was made some huge impacts for keeping all of us healthy. And then lastly, there's also an On Guard toothpaste. So one of the ingredients in On Guard essential oil is clove essential oil, which is very good for the health of the gums. This is a fluoride-free whitening toothpaste. It has that clovey, cinnamony taste. So for anybody that doesn't like peppermint toothpaste, like my husband, it's a really nice switch. And in terms of the ingredients in it, it's just a way safer option. Like if you ever looked at the ingredients on your Crest or your whatever toothpaste you might have in your cup, it specifically says if you swallow this, call poison control. Well, it's toothpaste, right? Like, yeah, some of it's probably going to go down whether you want to or not. So, you know, this is a nice, safe alternative that does a great job. Okay, so those were just some options for you, some examples of how, like I spoke to, we've switched out a lot of things by using essential oils, and it's just simplified everything for us. It's given us options, and we've saved money because we've been able to make a lot of stuff ourselves. I want to flip back now to talk a little bit more about the nutritional foundations. And the nutritional piece, when you're talking about cleansing and detoxification, is really, really so important. Because like I mentioned before, your body needs specific nutrients in higher concentrations in order to effectively detoxify. I don't know why I can't say that today. Must be a thing. So when we're focusing, or when we're going through a phase of detoxification, or we're trying to just increase that daily in our life, food, we want to focus on food. We want to clear out all the bagged processed stuff. We want to bring in all the good quality foods, lots and lots of color. Okay. Unfortunately, because of soil deficiency, our food traveling long distances, it's sitting on shelves, it's often radiated. Our food is not the same as it used to be. There is a stat out there somewhere that says that you would have to eat 7 oranges today to get the vitamin C content that you would have gotten out of 1 orange 20 years ago. So I am a advocate, a proponent of supplements. I believe that unfortunately, we just don't get what we're trying to get from our food, even if we're doing the best possible job we can. The other piece of that is that typically most of us are experiencing higher levels than normal for our species of stress daily, and stress shuts off our digestive system. So if you're eating and you're stressed, then you're not getting what you could be getting out of that food. So that's another reason why why I take a supplement every day, because I know that there are times when my digestive system is not functioning as well as it should, just because of how I'm feeling. Okay. I want to quickly talk about this product called the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is up on the screen. So it is has 3 systems basically in this pack. The first is the Microplex VMZ. It's a whole food multivitamin, multi-mineral. It has 22 essential nutrients that we need every day. And it also has, it's equal to about 12 servings of fruit and vegetables. So we're going to be getting more of these nutrients because we're focusing on whole foods, but we still may not quite have enough to really turn on the detoxification pathways that we need at this time. So that is a great option. The nice thing is that it comes with the XE Omega, which is an essential oil and omega fatty acid complex. So you get both plant and marine sources of omega fatty acids. You also get a carotenoid blend, and there are some essential oils added into this as well to help with the assimilation of the essential fatty acids in your body. Most of us are deficient in essential fatty acids. We get a lot of the omega-6. We don't get enough of the omega-3, generally speaking. And so this helps us to kind of restore that balance. The other one there is the alpha CRS, which is probably my favorite, especially when we're talking about reducing toxic load, because of its super high antioxidant content and its ability to help our cells do what they are supposed to do. So you can see there it says a cellular longevity and cellular energy blend. It helps our cells to work the way they're supposed to. And that's something we really want to have happening if we are trying to clear out stuff from our system. So the other reason that I talk about this pack specifically, it goes back to when I was mentioning about how as a young person, I found it hard to add in these things that I knew were better for me because of the cost. If you go to a health food store and you try to purchase a good whole food multivitamin, a good quality essential fatty acid supplement, and something like this alpha CRS that is full of antioxidants, you would be paying easily around $200 for that if you're purchasing good quality products. This whole pack comes together, a month's supply is $95. You won't find that anywhere else. It also comes back with a $30 money back guarantee. So that is an added benefit as well if you don't notice the difference, which is, I've never experienced it, but you get your money back. So it's really a no-brainer. The other product there over on the right is called Terrazyme. And I mention this because I started to talk about stress and digestion. So as much as I say that nutrition is the foundation of our health, I would argue that digestion is actually the foundation, because we can eat the best stuff. We can eat the best, purest foods every day. If our digestion is compromised, or we're under a ton of stress and we're not digesting properly, then we're not getting the nutrients out of that food that we really need to turn on those detox pathways, as well as a gazillion other things that we want to have operating well and functioning in our body. So Terrazyme is a digestive enzyme complex. It helps with healthy digestion and metabolic processes. You take it with a meal and it helps to break down your food. I taught a class one time where we actually did an experiment with this. And I do have the video. Somehow I should figure out how to connect it onto this. But basically we put oatmeal in 2 bowls at the start of the class. And then in about 20 minutes in, I pulled the bowls out and we showed everyone, and they were super sticky and gunky. Like I could stick the spoon in and the whole bowl would basically lift up off the counter with the spoon stuck in it. It was just a solid mass. So we opened up one of the Terrazyme capsules, dumped it in and stirred it around. And then at the end of the class, we came back and there was a night and day difference between the 2 bowls of oatmeal. So the one that had no Terrazyme was still a sticky, chunky, clunky mass of oatmeal stuck in the bowl. And the other one that had the Terrazyme in it, I could stir it around. It was liquidy, it was more mushy, it was movable, it was amazing. And everybody there just looked at that and were like, well, which one would you rather have sitting in your stomach? And like, it was amazing. You can tell how you would feel just by looking at that, right? So if you've experienced like discomfort after eating, or that really kind of heavy feeling after you finish a meal, possibly even heartburn, then this could be something that would be really beneficial for you. I also have a friend that uses this instead of Lactaid because it has lactose in it. So she's had some great success with not taking as much Lactaid. She uses the digestive enzyme instead. So great stuff. Again, just bringing it back to, if we want to support these organs in our body that are doing this job for us, we have to give them the good quality food that they need. So you might have seen a medicine cabinet that looks like this before. Lots of synthetics, lots of over-the-counter stuff. If you read the ingredients of these things, there's a lot of things in these that we don't want to be constantly putting into our body. Okay, so first off, if we can give our body what it needs through whole foods, good quality water, supplements, you're going to need these less. Okay, you're not going to be dependent on the things to manage symptoms or ailments because you won't have as many ailments. However, sometimes we need tools. So I threw up a couple other oils on here that have been really helpful for me to get rid of some of these medicine cabinet things that I used to use. So for example, peppermint now, I don't have, well, I still have it, but I seldom use Tylenol or Advil. Amazing for any kind of headache, muscle tension, digestive upset. You can just take a drop of this peppermint and rub it onto your temple and your headache will feel so much better. Same thing for anytime I've got shoulder or muscle tension, so shoulder or neck tension, I'll massage some peppermint into my neck and it feels amazing. Hot flashes. Peppermint will bring your body temperature down 20 to 30%. So I know a lot of ladies that put a few drops of peppermint in a spray bottle with some water, and if they feel a hot flash coming on, they just give themselves a spritz, and it's amazing. The Zengest there on the right would be your equivalent to Pepto-Bismol in a way healthier option. It includes several different essential oils, things like ginger, peppermint, tarragon, anise, fennel, coriander. And I think there's one I'm missing that's really good. But anyway, you know what, talking about nutrition, if somebody was dealing with digestive issues, I would recommend a lot of those teas for them to drink because they are so soothing to the gut. Essential oils are interesting because you get 50 to 70 times more potency in the essential oil than you would with the herb or for the tea, for that example. So I can use 1 drop of Zengest topically on my abdomen or in water to help with any kind of feelings of bloat, or if my kids are constipated, I use this instead of that gross pink chalky stuff. Really nice to have a very natural, safe option that works right away. In terms of pain and inflammation, achy joints, sore muscles, again, that deep blue rub there at the bottom or the deep blue essential oil blend, are amazing. And again, you'll get rid of a lot of those over-the-counter pain medications using this topically. So my mom is a good example. She had broke her scapula on a fall and had, of course, the bottle of pills from the doctor of Tylenol 3s to help her manage the pain, especially early on. And she used this instead topically around the area, and she didn't have to go to that heavy pain medication, right? So that was a huge benefit for her. And lastly, if you remember Vicks Vapo Rub, I'm pretty sure it's in here somewhere. If you look them all, oh yeah, there it is up at the top left. So Vicks, I mean, I remember using Vicks as a kid. My mom would rub it all over my chest when we had a cough or a cold, and it felt lovely. Again, lots of petrochemicals in there. It actually has turpentine in it. And we, would put this all over our kids. Well, I would rather have a safer option. So this Easy Air blend is a respiratory support blend. It's great for clearing out any mucus or congestion. If you get seasonal allergies, it's awesome. Again, the peppermint in it helps to open up airways and keep breathing easy. It's beautiful and it's safe and it's just coming from the plants. So there's a couple other little ideas for you that you can add in that just, again, as much as we can reduce the things in the medicine cabinet that are coming from those synthetic properties, especially when you're trying to reduce your toxic load, you don't want to be adding more to it. These are really safe, easy alternatives that you could use. So, we get from looking like the medicine cabinet on the left to looking like the medicine cabinet on the right. And I don't know about you, but I think the one on the right looks a lot nicer. And I'm sorry this picture is so awful, but ultimately, reducing your toxic load, working on these things now is going to help you avoid this. And I will share with you that when I was 21, this is what my medicine cabinet looked like. I had to take over 50 pills every day as a 21-year-old dealing with my disease. And I'm just so grateful now that I was introduced to these natural ways of taking care of myself, and hopefully, able to pass this down to my kids so that this is what their medicine cabinet looks like when they're 21. You do have the ability to positively impact your health by making some simple adjustments to the things that you do every day. So what I liken going through a period where you really focus on reducing your toxic load, whether that's you take a couple weeks and just adjust your food and the things you're doing at home. Perhaps you actually go through a cleanse, so to speak, which should not be a week-long thing in a box. That should be like a month or two of really focusing to help your body gently and slowly reduce its toxic load. But what it's really like as you're going through this and as you're coming out the other side, it's really like coming out of a fog. You will notice a sense of calm and ease. Energetically, we say that the liver is a place where we hold anger. And so if we are cleansing, we're going to release some of that on an energetic and emotional level, putting aside all of the the toxins, right? But emotions can also be toxic. So you really do come out feeling calm and just relaxed. You'll notice that your concentration is better. You have greater clarity and mental focus. Your performance mentally will be more attuned. Your digestive function will also be improved. And I know a lot of people, myself included, say that their belly, their gut, especially after eating, just feels so much better than before they started. You will have increased your immune function, so you'll have more resistance to illness. You will feel more vital. You'll have more energy, more stamina. You'll have cleared out or reduced a lot of those symptoms of toxicity that we saw on that chart earlier on in the presentation. And you'll have reduced your risk for a lot of chronic diseases that come as a result of this toxic load. Weight loss is a nice side benefit that often happens quite naturally once this process starts to take place. Okay, so now what? What do I do? How do I do all this, right? So I'm here to help. That's what I do. So from me, I will just tell you what you get from me, okay? So if you decide to take advantage of some of the things I'm going to show you here in the next couple slides, you will essentially end up with a wholesale account that gives you 25% off of your wellness products. So saving some money. You'll also get a 45-minute complimentary wellness consult with me, which is about $120 value. I will also give you a welcome package, which is about $25 or $30 sometimes, depending on what I have in my stash of stuff that's going to help you get started on this adventure. We also have a large Facebook group that we will add you to, where you can ask questions, you can see cool DIY recipes and tips and tricks and things that are going on. We also have a extensive ongoing education program, because we really believe that, like I said, these are daily healthy habits. There's so much you can do with this stuff, and we want to make sure that you know how to use it, or you know what to do, you know how to use the things that you have at home. Our customer support team is amazing. Anything that you order will come directly to your home. So that's also nice too if you do happen to be isolating a little bit right now. And you get my ongoing support as you need it. You can send me a message anytime, and I will also check in with you. We do have some October promotions that I'm going to show you in a minute. You would get up to 2 free oils, depending on what you decide to get started with. And because I believe that I've talked about essential oils and I've talked about nutrition, and I believe that they together make a really amazing, they make going through this reducing toxic load process, they make it functional and they make it simpler. So I have a 21-day meal plan to give you if you decide to get started. So these are the October promotions I was mentioning. So if you place a 100 PV order, and I'll explain what that is in a minute, you get a free Easy Air Touch. So this is the respiratory blend that I mentioned, but it comes in a roller bottle. So you just unscrew the cap and there's a little roller on the top, and you can just roll it onto wherever you need it. It's super, super handy, especially if you have kids in the house. And you will also get a free wild orange essential oil from me, which is my favorite happy oil. So that's about a $50 value of free stuff that you get with your order, plus the meal plan, which is another about $80 to $100. And you, with a 200 PV order this month, the promo is insane. So you would get the Easy Air, but you would also get these 4 additional products. You get a peppermint essential oil, which we talked about. You get Digest Zen soft gels. So this is that Zengest essential oil I talked about, but it comes in a capsule, so you can take it internally really simply to support your digestive issues. Also comes with Tamer, which is one of the kids' essential oils for digestive support, and Calmer, which is a beautiful blend for our kiddos that is very calming, very relaxing, very soothing. So any nervousness, any sadness, anxiety, irritability, this is a go-to in our house. So anyways, those 4 would come plus the Easy Air. So 5 products, about $165 value there that you would get for free with a 200 PV order. So I want to quickly show you what these options are. So this you see in front of you is called the Natural Solutions Kit. It is basically the big kahuna of the essential oil kits. So you'll notice this is one, if you really wanted to just dive in and get everything all at once, this would be where you would start. So you get the Lifelong Vitality Pack, you get the Terrazyme, you get a bunch of the On Guard products, some of which you can't actually order right now because they're out of stock. You get all the oils that I talked about today, plus a couple extra ones that are amazing for calming and relaxing. You get the shampoo, conditioner, the deep blue rub, the unscented lotion, natural lotion, so you can incorporate your essential oils topically with that. So this kit comes in at $600, and you would also get the Easy Air and the 4 additional products. So that is one option. This is another great option for you. This is called the Healthy Home Kit. And this is a really good one if you want to get started particularly with some of the oils, but also just clearing out some of the other products that you use in your home. So you'll notice again a lot of the On Guard products. You'll notice the shampoo and conditioner. It comes with a super cute diffuser called the Brevi diffuser, which I just love. And then all the oils that I talked about today, plus some. So this one comes in at $4.49, and you would again also receive the Easy Air Touch and the 4 additional products with this purchase. This is the Healthy Habits Kit. And really for this conversation about reducing toxic load, this is probably my favorite because it has those strong nutritional foundations, a real focus on that. And then it also has a few amazing essential oils that you can use. So with this, you get the Lifelong Vitality Pack. You also get the Terrazyme. You get the Deep Blue Rub. So for any aches and pains, you're not going for your Tylenol to deal with that. You can use the rub. You get the On Guard, the lemon, the balanced frankincense, which is amazing, and the lavender essential oil. So that one comes in at $250, and you would also qualify for the Easy Air Touch and the 4 additional products with this one. So that's it. I think for all the kits that I'm going to show you today, that is the best value right now, considering the other stuff that you also get on top of it. All right, this is the Healthy Start Kit. So this is more for those that might just want to start with the oils. You feel pretty good about the nutritional stuff. This has all the oils that I talked about today, as well as a couple extras. There's oregano in there as well. These ones come in 5 ml bottles. Excuse me. So basically in these, you get about 85 drops and per bottle. And this kit is really going to help you address about 85% of the things that come up day to day in your home. You got a headache, you got an upset stomach, you got a congested nose, you have you're working on your detox with your lemon. You needed some calming and soothing in the day. You had an owie, so you put tea tree on. And it's really going to help with all that stuff. And you're going to find you're not going to your medicine cabinet for some of those other over-the-counter things that you used to use. This one comes in at $205. With this, you would receive the free Easy Air Touch, but not the other 4 additional products. Okay. Now this one it's similar, but the value is better. So this one is the Healthy Essentials Kit. A lot of those same oils, but I would say this kit has a focus more towards some of the emotional stuff too. The Adaptive Essential Oil Blend that is in there, I didn't talk about today, but it is doTERRA's calming blend, and it has been amazing. Basically was doTERRA's response to the increasing levels of mind and mood challenges that we're having, especially right now in the middle of the pandemic. It also has copaiba, which has a plethora of amazing supports for most systems in our body. And it's one that I use internally every single day. So this one comes in at, one other thing. So these actually are the 15 ml bottles. So these come with 250 drops. The diffuser is also a little bit bigger. So this is what I said, it's a bit of a better value. You get 3 times the oil for less than 3 times the price. And you would get the Easy Air Touch with this, but also those 4 additional products. So it's a pretty amazing deal also. And this little guy is a great option if you're looking for something that's a little bit more customizable. So this is the Simple Solutions Kit. It's $135. You get the Deep Blue Rub, Lemon, On Guard, and Serenity, which I didn't talk about today. It has lavender and vanilla tones. It's beautiful. It is a restful blend, so it's great for stress and sleep. So typically what people do, especially if you want to get that promo of the Easy Air Touch, is you find one other product that's about 27 PV or points, 26 points. And then that would get you to that 100 PV mark. And then you would get the free Easy Air Touch as well. Oh, and also the Wild Orange. I forgot to mention, all of those ones get the Wild Orange as well. Okay, like I mentioned, I believe that this is not just I'm just all going to do essential oils. I'm just going to do only food. I guess my scope has become very holistic over the last 10 years. And both through work and seeing what works for people and also knowing what has worked for me personally. So I mentioned the meal plan, and sorry, that should say 21. It would be a 21-day meal plan that you receive. It's called the Reset Program. So it's all about refocusing your diet around good quality whole foods that are going to give you the nutrients that you need to turn on those detoxification pathways. It's a 3 weeks of plans. Sorry, let's type out, it says 1 week. So it's 3 weeks of plans. You get 1 week at a time. They come with shopping lists. They come with delicious recipes. They come with professional photos, all the details you need to make switching to more of a whole food diet, especially during this period of time, a easy process for you. And that's it. So if you don't already, you can follow me on Facebook. I'm Diane Johnson, or at DJ Wellness Consulting is my business page. On Instagram, I'm DJ Wellness. My website has lots of great info on it, oils and nutrition. It's www.djwellnessconsulting.com. And if you had any questions at all, you can email me, info@djwellnessconsulting.com. Now, before you go, I want you to do something. This is my cell phone number, 403-601-5615. I want you to text me. And I want you to text me those top 3 health concerns that you wrote down at the beginning. In that, you can include any questions or thoughts you had about the presentation today. But what I will do is when you share those 3 ailments with me, or those 3 health concerns, I'm going to send you a reply that gives you some information about, but kind of more specific to your needs, about where you could start in terms of if there were particular oils that you were thinking about that would be really helpful for addressing those specific things. The promotions that I talked about today are available for the month of October. So you have some time to make your decision if you need to. And I'm always here if you have any questions or need some support. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you listening, and hope you have a great day, and we will chat with you soon.